What's going on, guys? It's Uncle Mike. Welcome back. Glad to have you along. Today I want to talk about 5 ways that you can make more money without working more. Now, I know that sounds like clickbaity, passive income bro BS, but I promise you that you can absolutely make more money without working more, especially if you're in a service-based business. If you're a freelancer or a consultant or a solopreneur, you can absolutely increase the money that you make without working more. In fact, in some cases, you can actually work less. And wouldn't that be nice? Work a little less, make a lot more. What's wrong with that? So today, I want to share 5 ways that you can do that. You can implement just one, it'll make a difference. But if you implement all 5, you're at S tier level here with your income. Okay, let's talk about the first one. The first one is around your services. Now, here's the thing. When you're in a service-based business, it's rare that you just do like one thing. If you're a graphic designer, there are multiple kinds of design projects, services that you offer. You might do branding work, you might lay out brochures, you might do some web UX, UI, maybe you dabble, in some things like laying out books, etc. But there's going to be a number of services that you're going to find aren't that profitable for you. And there's going to be other services in your mix that are profitable, that you, when you do it, it's easy to do, it's smooth, and you get paid really well. It's just like you love it. That's like your favorite work. And what you want to do is you want to go through your business, identify those services that are your high margin services, and then work to start replacing your low margin, low paying, frustrating, difficult work with this higher margin work. Now, I know you say, well, Mike, that's just easier said than done. Well, look, if it were easy, anyone would do it. But it is quite simple. And quite frankly, the thing is, you've only got time. You're working a set number of hours every day. And if you take 4 of your 8 hours, and you may not always work an 8-hour day on billable work, but let's say you work 8 hours of billable time. If you take 4 of those hours and you get bogged down in low-paying work, those are 4 hours that you didn't earn what you could have. And so you want to be playing this game where you're always trying to make sure that the hours you're working are being spent on the most profitable kinds of work. It may take you a few months or even the better part of a year to make that transition, but if you make it, and you'll be benefiting along the way because it doesn't just happen all at once. You're slowly replacing the bad work with the good work. At the end of 6 months to a year, you're in this amazing place where you're doing work that's really good, you enjoy doing it, and you get paid really well. And the fact of the matter is you're not working any more than you used to. In fact, you may have a lower level of stress and frustration. So that's the first one. Replace the low-paying, low-margin work with high-margin, good, well-paying services. Okay, the second thing you want to do is around your pricing. Now, the classic model as a freelancer and even as a consultant and even into the professional services like, finance, like a CPA or an attorney, legal, is to charge by the hour. You want to stop charging by the hour. That's like the kiss of death. Now, it's the easiest thing to get into. When you first start doing work on your own, you typically go with an hourly rate. Maybe you were making, 40 grand. I'm just using easy numbers for me, a year. And so when you leave your employer, you're like, well, I need to at least make 40 grand. And that works out to like, $20 an hour. And so in your mind, which is very flawed thinking, by the way, because you still need to cover things like your vacation and your health care and all that other jazz. However, you kind of just go with this hourly rate, because it's just the easiest way to calculate what you think your value is. But what you want to do is get away from that. And there's a couple reasons. First of all, you tend to undervalue yourself when you work hourly, especially when you're newer. You tend to undercharge by the hour. The other problem is there's a bit of a ceiling. You get into some of these big CPA finance groups, accounting groups, or legal groups, and they're charging $250, $350, $400, $500 an hour, and it's like, oh my gosh, who can afford a $300 an hour accountant? The same would happen to you. As you keep raising your rates, you end up losing customers and clients over time. And the other thing is when you bill hourly, you're communicating subtly to your clients that this is a transaction. They give you $1 and you give them a chunk of time in return. They give you another $1, you give them another chunk of time. And that also cheapens and devalues what you do. What you want to do is move away from hourly and begin charging value-based. Use value-based pricing. I've got another video. You got to look way back in my, and I'll probably do a new one at some point on this, on value-based pricing. But you want to start getting into value-based pricing. So instead, if you're, again, a designer, you're going to do a logo job, instead of saying, well, that's going to be 10 hours and I charge $50 an hour, and so that will be $500 for this logo, you want to start thinking about, well, what is this logo worth to the customer? What problem does it solve? And what will the customer, the client, be able to do once they get a new logo? If I do a logo update, does this help them grow their revenue by $100,000, $500,000? Does this let them launch a whole new line of products? Are they penetrating a new market? Like, what could this logo be worth? You can't always put a specific dollar amount to it. But when you help your client understand the value of the work that you're doing, then you can tie the way they pay you to that value. So if you're going to put together a landing page that they're going to use to sell a product, and that landing page, if it converts really well, it's going to do a couple million in revenue, it should be no problem to get 20 grand or 50 grand to put that page together for them. Now, I know you might be saying, Mike, that's crazy talk. However, you will be surprised if you learn how to help people see the value, if you together arrive at value of the actual outcome, you'll be surprised at how easy it is to tie your remuneration, your income to that. And what you'll find is you'll free up from this idea that you're trading time for money, and now you're delivering solutions, and those solutions are worth something, and you can get paid exponentially more. Real quick, I remember when I launched into consulting, good buddy, he was running a multi-million-dollar business, not a consulting business, manufacturing company, and he's like, why do you want to do consulting? He goes, the best you'll probably make is like $75,000 a year. And I think that my first year, I had multiple clients, but I had one client that paid me $75,000. So, and that was just one client. I made multiple six figures my first year of consulting. So the point being, value-based pricing can be a very powerful lever to help you make more. Okay, number 3. Just like I was talking about, you want to think about your services and focus on the ones that are the most profitable for you. You want to think strategically also about your client mix. Go through your list of clients and identify the ones that are your most profitable. Which ones are the easiest to work with? Which ones understand the value of what you provide? Which ones pay well? Which ones pay on time? You want to find the clients in your mix that are the most ideal, the best to work with. You also want to find, say, the bottom 20% of clients that are not. You're going to have some clients in the mix that are difficult, frustrating, low paying, lack gratitude for the work that you do, etc. Get rid of that bottom 20% or whatever that number is and replace them with those higher quality clients. Again, this may take time. This isn't something you can do overnight. But if you think about the fact that you only have so much time resource, you can't service more and more and more clients. You can only service so many. You want to be in a constant mode of identifying underperforming clients, let's say, frustrating clients that are a drain on your energy and your time, and replace them with those higher quality clients. If you're more strategic about your client mix, again, you could be working the same amount or even less and making double what you make. The whole effort to maintain them, to service them, and the work that you do for them is just so much better. And so that's another way. That's the third way. Okay, the fourth way that you can increase your income without working more is to rethink the way that you sell your services. The fact of the matter is, when you're a service provider, you're out there looking, saying, hey, does anybody need fill in the blank, a videographer? Does anybody need an accountant? Does anybody need a data security guy? Does anybody need a web developer? You're just out there trying to find people that are looking for your service. And so you're selling services. What will dramatically change your game and make selling so much easier, finding clients so much easier, and positioning you in a such much better place is to stop selling services and start solving problems. When you can approach the market from almost the kind of mentality of a doctor, I've got all this great experience, I've got all this great know-how, I'm an expert, and I'm just out there looking for problems to solve. Doctors don't go around saying to people, hey, how you feeling? Do you want me to do a checkup? Are you looking for a doctor by any chance? No. They're experts. We go to them saying, hey, I think something's wrong. I need help. And so you need to start approaching the marketplace and your sales process and your messaging, especially from the perspective of someone who solves problems. What problem do you solve? Not what service do you offer, but what problem do you solve? The more that you can talk in terms of the problems you solve is the degree that you're going to be able to increase your income, because now you're an expert, and experts are highly sought after, experts are respected, and experts are paid handsomely. Okay, number 5, the last way that you can increase your income without working more is Marketing 101. And what Marketing 101 teaches us is it's always easier to sell more to an existing customer than it is to go out and find a new customer. And so what you want to do is look at your book of business, look at your client list, look at the services that you're providing, and think about 2 things. One is, are there opportunities to either upsell or add services that I'm not doing for a given client? Maybe you're busy doing a logo or redesign for a client that has a fleet of trucks. Upsell them on saying, hey, I can design a whole new cool wrap for your trucks that incorporates the new brand. And by the way, I can even manage having the trucks wrapped. I can take care of the whole thing. I mean, right there, you could add quite a bit of margin if you wanted to get into that kind of thing. Or you can be looking for adjacent type offerings. Again, you're, let's say, a videographer doing a video for a client. Well, maybe there's an opportunity to add other services, design services, photography services, audio services to an existing customer. That's the first thing. The other thing that you can do is look for opportunities for recurring revenue. You have a book of business. Rather than wait for these clients to come to you with a project, you can try to upsell them on some type of recurring revenue model. It's much easier to have 10 clients, each giving you $5,000 a month. Oh, what a wonderful thing that would be. Than to have 10, 20, 30 clients out there and you're just kind of waiting for them to get in touch with you to say, hey, we got a new job, we got a new project. So you want to think about ways to upsell either an existing project or add services to an existing client, or look for ways to try to sign a client up for recurring revenue relationships. The nice thing about recurring revenue also is it evens out your monthly cash flow. You don't have to just have this kind of up and down cycle, but you've got a base of business that you can kind of count on. You know it's there. And often with a recurring revenue like a retainer, clients don't always use it all up. You don't have to account for the time often. They just want you there. They want you taking care of things, but they're not asking you to track hours. And so you can often deliver high value without putting tons of work in. So that's that. So those are my 5 suggestions if you are in a service-based business. Like I said, apply one of these. It can change your business dramatically. Apply all 5, and man, you're living a good life. So guys, I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like this kind of content, and if you're interested in small business entrepreneurship, strategy, and so on, I've got a free newsletter. I put it out once a week. There'll be a link down in the description below. You can sign up. I won't spam you. However, I will hit you with some sweet, sweet content. And if you like that, well, make sure you get in on it. Guys, I love each and every one of you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.